Hello guys, welcome back to another Pokemon reaction video. Oh, this time we're going to be reacting to how I beat my first Pokemon Nuzlocke by a Nayeoncat comic. So, I really don't know who this YouTuber is, but let's get into this video.
I recently went on an adventure around Unova while attempting the Pokemon Nuzlocke challenge for the first time ever after being motivated by the best Nuzlocker on YouTube, Purple Cliff. Now, even if I have been playing Pokemon practically all my life, my knowledge about the game was pretty pathetic. I still can't memorize the type chart between Psychic, Dark, Ghost, and Fighting. I didn't know that there was a difference between physical and special attacks, and I didn't even know what stat moves were. But all of that didn't stop me from Nuzlocking Pokemon White. If you're wondering what Nuzlocks are, there are a bunch of self-imposed rules you can add to make
I like those to roll.
the game more difficult and fun. Some standard
Yeah, in fact, I did add in an extra rule to make it a little bit more challenging for myself during my whole Nuzlocke. Look, I should really make a playlist. I should really make a playlist on my Fire Red Nuzlocke. But yeah, I am doing a Pokemon Fire Red Nuzlocke.
You can only catch the first Pokemon you encounter per area. If the Pokemon faints, it's dead and you can't use it ever again. And you must nickname each Pokemon caught to strengthen emotional bonds.
Yep, that's basically the four song with the basic rules.
Simple, right?
Yep.
Well, I added even more rules to turn this game into hell. I can't use any items during battle, so no potions or X items. My Pokemon's levels cannot be higher than the next gym leader's highest level Pokemon, so that means I can't just sweep the game with a level 99 Samurott. No legendaries allowed. And finally, play on set mode. That means I don't get an opportunity to switch out my Pokemon after my opponent's faints. Got it? Well then, this is the journey of my Pokemon White Nuzlocke. Professor Juniper was kind enough to give the town loser some of her Pokemons, so Sharon, Bianca, and I excitedly picked our starters. I didn't give the other two a second thought and immediately chose Snivy because it's my favorite Pokemon from the entire series. Who cares if Grass is the weakest type? Who cares if it's weak to... Immediately chose Snivy because it's my favorite Pokemon from the entire series. Who cares if Grass...
Why would you do this? I mean, it is very challenging. For the challenge.
Is the weakest type. Who cares if it's weak to half of the gym members plus Alessa's annoying ass Emogas? I named my Snivy Doitsu and set off on our journey. On Route 1, I caught Teemo the scout Pokemon, and then went up to level my Pokemons before the first battle against my husband, N. The fight went okay. I continued on my way, catching Hund the Lily Pup, and yes, I know, what a creative name. Some girl gifted me Bufus the Panpour, and then it was time to challenge Chili, the first gym leader. Yeah, it wasn't that dramatic. After the gym battle, I caught a Pidove named Vogie on Route 3, who immediately died to a crit from a wild Purleon. Ugh. Later, I teamed up with Sharon to beat up Team Plasma for stealing a Pokemon from a little girl in Wellspring Cave, and caught Woojen, the Woobat. Alright, another flying type. I hand the little girl her Pokemon and head towards Nacrene City, where, in my opinion, the scariest gym leader of Unova is Lenora. At first glance, her team looks pretty
yeah, like confusion strats, yeah, that is difficult.
Underwhelming, but don't be fooled. Her super fast, hard-hitting Watchog has the move Retaliate, which doubles in power if a Pokemon from the user's party fainted in the previous turn. So that means after I have defeated Herdier, her Watchog is almost guaranteed to kill one of my Pokemon and easily sweep my team. It also knew Hypnosis. So, I had a plan. I would catch a Timber on Pinwheel Forest. Alright, new plan. I would grind for 2 hours, almost wiping to a youngster who had 3 supersonic temples, and evolved half my team in process. Now, the star of the battle would be Teemo, who I trained only against wild temples, so that he would hopefully be just a little bit faster than Lenora's Watchog. I slapped all of my Chesto berries on my team and went to challenge the second gym leader. I knew that I would do practically no damage to her team, so I just leech seeded, confused ray, and hypnosis stalled like a cringe lord. I took out her herdier with no problem, and then came her watchog. It was the moment of truth. Was Timo faster, or would he go down by her retaliate? And he did it! I managed to obtain the second gym badge with no casualties thanks to my 9,000 IQ strat. During my battle with Lenora, Team Plasma stole a dragon skull from the museum and camped inside Pinwheel Forest. So I then steamrolled past a bunch of Team Plasma grunts with the Castelia gym leader Berg to give Lenora her skull back. I ran over the Sky Arrow Bridge to Castelia City, where I had to retrieve a stolen Pokemon again! This time it was Bianca's Muna. Why do I have to fight Team Plasma? Don't you have a level 43 Haxorus? After that whole fiasco, I was training my Pokemon in the desert when Wujin died to a Fire Fang crit. I was straight up panicking because now I didn't have an answer to Berg's bug-type Pokemons. I rushed straight to Route 4 and prayed for a Darumaka and... damn it, not again. I named an Enyo and did jack shit with her. Thankfully, Timo learned Super Fang, a move that cuts the enemy's HP by half, which was gonna be the run saver.
Well,
so,
that's not guaranteed.
Like my last gym battle,
but
I confused Ray Stall and prayed for no Razor Leaf crits. And like that, I obtained the third gym badge. At the desert resort, I caught a Darumaka and named it Heisenberg. It would have been cool to have you like 5 minutes ago, man. I walked inside the relic castle, caught Schnappy the Sandile, and obtained the plume fossil. I revived it in Nacron City and welcomed Griffin the Archon. And then Schnappy died to a crit air cutter by Sigilyph. No! My LSA counter! As I was lamenting my loss and freaking out about the next gym fight, Sharon stopped me for a battle, who I swept the floor with, and before I knew it, I was at Nimbasa City. I went over to scope out my opponent when suddenly N appeared out of nowhere and asked me on a date? Nope. After listening to his boring-ass monologue that I was totally paying attention to, he challenged me to a battle who I also swept the floor with. Love pales in comparison when only one thing matters: dominance! Now, preparing for the main event. The only other ground type I had against Alessa's electric types was that Temple I caught back in Pinwheel Forest, who I named Froppy, and trained her hard until she evolved into a Palpitoad. And if you caught up on how I plan my battles against scary opponents, then you best bet I played cringe as hell. I had Froppy set up an Aqua Ring, Supersonic stalled and chipped Alessa's Emolgas away with Bubble Beam. But then came her Zebstrika. Yeah. Since Froppy was on super low health, I knew I had to sack one of my
for some reason, Water is only neutral against electric, for some reason.
Pokemons. I decided to send Enyo out to do some pretty good damage with Dig before her timely death. I had Heisen hit the final blow, and I won the 4th badge. And before you say, why didn't you sack the Trubbish instead? First of all, how dare you? And second of all, I had great plans for her in the future. Just keep watching. I headed towards Driftvale City and met Clay, the city gym leader, who forced me and Sharon to track down Team Plasma inside the cold storage while he ran off to somewhere after leaving the responsibilities of catching worldwide criminals to a bunch of kids. After arresting Team Plasma, I then challenged Clay, the well-renowned Nuzlocke run killer, who was a complete pushover. There was a scary moment when Froppy flinched twice in a row to Rock Slide, and then missed Muddy Water, but it was fine. After Clay blasted the entrance with his Krokorok, we walked inside Chargestone Cave where I caught Pavuchki the Joltik. I sped ran my way through Team Plasma along with N, and stepped outside the cave into Mistralton City. I was about to challenge Skyla when she abruptly ran into the Celestial Tower for some reason. I don't know, I wasn't paying attention. I followed after her where I caught Litwick that I named Hestia, and then Doitsu died to a crit from an Alomamora. It's okay. He would have been useless against the next gym leaders anyway. After I rang the stupid bell tower, I walked back dejectedly to finally challenge Skyla. When I forgot to avoid this stupid triple battle trainer, which led to Pavuchki getting killed. Losing an important matchup right before the gym battle seems to be a reoccurring theme in this adventure. It's fine. I'll figure something out. And then, Heisen died to a crit from one of the trainers inside the gym. The only saving grace was to catch a Zebstrika on Route 7, and I had a foolproof plan to guarantee the encounter. You see, in that route, there are 3 Pokemons along with Zebstrika that are level 29. If I use Repel with the level 29 Pokemon in front of my party, Then I ward off all Pokemons below level 29. I also played with the dupes clause, which means if I encounter a Pokemon I already own, I can try again until I find one that I don't have. And since I already had Teemo the Watchog and Fungus, who I caught back on Route 6, I was able to catch Blitzcrank the Zebstrika. So with Blitzcrank and Ice Cream the Vanillish, who I caught back in Driftvale City, Skyla was defeated and I was granted the HM Surf. I excitedly ran into Twisted Mountain, quickly caught a boulder, and surfed across the river into Mistralton Cave for my guaranteed Axew, who I named Shyvana. While looking for new water encounters, I arrived at this island where some ranger gifted me an egg, and Pele the Larvesta hatched. Oh, thank God, I have a fire type against Bryson, the next gym leader who specializes in ice types and definitely not gonna get you killed right before the gym battle. After getting lost in the Twist Mountain and finally arriving in Icarus City, I challenged Bryson and led with Pele as he set out his Beartic, which I wasn't paying attention to because I thought it was gonna be an easy sweep when...
Amigos. Oh.
If the Nuzlocke pros are seeing me now, they will probably be face-palming. Pele's death was even more unforgivable due to the fact that I clearly wrote in my document to watch out for the Beartic sprite in capital letters. I'm sorry, please don't roast me. Anyways, after that, I climbed the Dragon Spiral Tower, beat up a bunch of Team Plasma grunts, and reached the top to find N befriending Reshiram. He told me that if I wanted to stop him, I must find the other dragon and become a hero as well. He flew off before I could say anything and left me in the tower by myself. I walked back down, ran across the two-line bridge for my final gym badge. Iris was no match for my Shyvana and Ice Cream as I destroyed her team. Now we can challenge the Elite Four.
Yep.
Hold it! After beating up Sharon for the last time and trekking through Victory Road, I stood in front of the gates of no return and immediately flew off for the shopping mall on Route 9. I sold almost half of my belongings to buy as much vitamins as I could. Surprisingly, I never saw any Nuzlockers doing this before, so someone let me know if vitamins are cheating or not. I don't know. The team I decided to bring to the Elite Four was gonna be Shyvana the Haxorus, Froppy the Seismitoad, Hestia the Chandelier, Amogus the Ranunculus, Hund the Stoutland, and my savior of the run, Urgoddess the Garbodor, who had probably one of the worst abilities ever, Weak Armor, which reduces defense but raises speed if hit by a physical attack. And this tiny little detail was what almost halted my adventure, but like always, I had a plan. Remember what I said in the beginning of my journey? I still can't memorize the type chart between Psychic, Dark, Ghost, and Fighting. Well, coincidentally, in Unova, the Elite Fours are masters of each of those types, respectively. So I made sure to pack my type chart and step into the Pokemon League. After teaching Shadow Claw to Shyvana and forcing in as many Pokemon steroids as I could, she had no problem against Chantal and Caitlyn. After that, I challenged Grimsley, who I knew I had nothing for, but this was where Urgoddess came in. Just before the fight, I taught her Rest, Toxic, and Attract, so after I poisoned the enemy Scrafty and scattered toxic spikes, I rest...
What's up, guys, and welcome to Boogeyman 3.
Sorry for the interference.
I rest spammed into victory. It wasn't that clean of a win, as Froppy died trying to take down the crocodile, but Hund came in and retaliated as vengeance. I then headed for Marshall, the last Elite Four. I just used the same cheesy, toxic strategy with Urgoddess, poisoning the enemy and mobilizing them through Attract. But the enemy thrower refused to be a simp, so he broke through and killed Urgoddess. I couldn't care less at all. She had already set up the toxic spikes and was now useless to me. I sent out Shyvana to Dragon Dance and Aerial Ace rest of Marshall's team. Now there was only the champion left. As I was approaching Elder, I saw that N was also there and he had beat the champion before me. He noticed I was there too and summoned a freaking castle from the ground. N told me to follow him inside for the epic battle of the century, so I do. When I am stopped by the 6 sages, I didn't have enough power to take them down myself when suddenly all the gym leaders showed up like the Avengers and urged me to catch up to N. Thankfully, there was a PC on the next floor where I literally spent an hour strategizing and crafting the perfect team. See, when you beat the Elite Four in Pokemon Black and White, you had to defeat not only N, but also Ghetsis. So I was team building around 2 different enemies, and from the limited amount of available Pokemon, because I killed them half of them to stupid mistakes, this is what I came up with. I still brought Shyvana, Hestia, and Hund, but I also added Ice Cream, Vi the main shout, and Amogus the Amoongus. Apparently, I must have been a real freaking comedian, because I named 2 of my Pokemons Amogus on 2 different occasions. I stepped into the throne room where N welcomed me. The dark stone suddenly flew out of my back and turned into Zekrom. I just chucked the Master Ball at it because I didn't want to deal with that. I turned back to N to initiate my final battle with him. He sent out Reshiram as I led with Shyvana. I had no problem taking it down and then type match the best I could against the rest of his Pokemons. Now, the biggest problem was a Zorar, who outsped every single one of my Pokemons and did massive damage. But I also had a plan for it. See, there was a reason I decided to bring both Hestia and Vi together. Can you guess what that is?
What?
That's right. 3 out of 4 moves did no damage to my Flash Fire Hestia, and Nightshade did less than 33% to my Regenerator Vi. So that means I played for the long game, PP stalling until Zorak ran out of Focus Blast moves. This annoying ass switcheroo lasted for 10 whole minutes before Vi had the chance to land a kill on Zoroark with a Drain Punch. After I defeated N, Ghetsis called him a failure and shoved him aside to challenge me. Whatever happens now, this was the last battle of my adventure. Yeah, after his Confagrigus missed Toxic, I set up Dragon Dance on Shyvana and one-shot the rest of his team. Ghetsis had a mental breakdown and Alder and Sharon took him away, leaving N and I alone.
Okay, so that was how I beat my first Pokemon hardcore Nuzlocke, guys. So if you guys like this video, go down, like, subscribe, ring that bell. Go subscribe to Neon Cat comment. Heck, and see you guys in the next video.